In the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Merciful. Okay, here we go. This is your brother Abdul Wadud, aka Questman, coming at you with another live Soul Journey of Life, the Conscious Black Social Media, the Light Dome. I'd like to begin by greeting the viewers and those who perhaps intend to view at a later time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Shalom, Hotep, peace be with you. Paz sobre vosotros. And if I knew more, I'd say more in other languages as well. Um, let's see here. Shalom, sister, Miss Watchman. And even if the body beckons you to rest, I'd encourage you to do so, so long as the soul remains wide awake. As you see, with tonight's title being titled, Love Will Cross the Seven Oceans for You, and perhaps more. This obviously is about love. And to some people, that might be a complicated word to deal with. I mean, there are people with so many varying perspectives, opinions, views, you know, uh, appreciations and degradations, underestimations, overestimations about this concept. But I want to talk about it more specifically regarding things that I've recently experienced. Because for me, I find a passion out of certain things that I experience in my life. Because for me, you know, selflessly, um, this whole life is a journey, a spiritual journey. Everything that I experience for me, I always find it somehow connecting in a spiritual way, in a divine or celestial way, right? Um, I want to give some shout outs into this and some acknowledgments and even some appreciations um, based upon some of the things that I've experienced and some of the things that I've thought about reflecting upon those experiences. Now, as you know, I've kind of been, I haven't, I've been off for a few days. I can tell you that, my journey that I took this past week was definitely an exhausting one. That coupled with my work and all the things that I do individually, um, it exhausted me. So I had to take some time out to rest. Rest the body up a little bit before I even did this live. Even this live, I was kind of feeling a little fatigued. I had a big work schedule today, but I felt, compelled because I thought about and reflected upon some things that I observed in the character of others that I really, really admire and appreciate. And it says a lot about who they are as an individual. Um, as you know, we had the scheduled for the 25th of April, which was the date that at that time we understood it to be the date for the court hearing of Grandmaster Jay. And so, many of there were those of us, I should say, I don't know how many, but there were those of us who decided to embark upon the journey to, go to Louisville, Kentucky, in order to support the brothers' cause the case. And so, among those, there were many people that I ended up observing later. But during my arrival, there were a handful of people that I was able to meet with, and among them, a notable personality, and um, a YouTube content provider or content presenter or what have you, whatever what you want to call it. Salute Balance is our beloved sister K Money, and you can know of the sister through her YouTube channel, K Money. I believe it's K Money Spoken Word. It was definitely an honor to meet the sister. It was definitely an honor to meet some of the other sisters and brothers that I was able to meet as well. Um, and I definitely appreciate the hospitality that was shown to me by some of the persons that were there. Um, and even my journey to Louisville was covered with challenges of a sort. You know, I arrived in Lexington, for example, and the bus that I was on it came late. The bus that came to pick us up to take us to Lexington, which was a transfer point, came late. So it caused me to miss the bus pickup time in Lexington. Lexington is about 100 miles or so away from Louisville. So more or less, I can't remember the exact amount, but it's quite some distance away from Louisville. It's not around the block, in other words. Um, and so I had to decide whether or not I was going to wait at that. It was like a small hub, like a Greyhound hub. Whether I was going to wait there and take the chance of when the personnel came back to open up the place, take the chance of uh, there not coming another bus, or I could Uber my way to Louisville, Kentucky. So I decided that I wasn't going to sit there and wait outside like that, and I had to, pay the extensive expense of Ubering from Lexington all the way to Louisville, which was kind of interesting because there really wasn't any Ubers out there. And the one that I got was kind of hesitant. You know what I mean? And in fact, the driver was asking, "Where are you going exactly?" Um, so I went ahead and hurried and texted the message to the driver. I tip, right? Because I'm trying to make sure that the drivers will come. So I didn't want them to feel any kind of way or hesitate because the first attempt failed, so I didn't want to repeat that. Anyway, um, yeah, so I did make it to Louisville, Kentucky, and had my place to stay or whatever hotel. And when the 25th did arrive, and as you guys already know, if you look at my IG, you'll get a good idea of some of the I think I have maybe two lives on IG and a few lives on YouTube here. That I kind of popped up on when I had things to say while there. Um, I was personally pretty excited about the whole experience anyway because I wanted to meet the brother. I wanted to meet our family, out there and salute the brothers and sisters, for, doing what I think is a good job. You know what I mean? The fact that they're remaining strong and loyal and steadfast, to me, those are very powerful signs to me. I mean, I know there are people who have this, that, and the other in their heads, but that's them, each to their own. Um, but back to the topic of this live. Shalom, dear sister, uh, Deborah. Back, the subject of this live, as you see there, love will cross the seven oceans for you. And under the description, you see one who truly loves you would cross the seven oceans and more to reach the one beloved. I salute all those who continue to manifest a nobility in love. And this, the biggest salute out of this, I want to direct it towards our sister K Money. And I'll tell you why. So you got to understand something, and this is especially, to the naysayers, the people that have a negative perspective about life, people who fail to really truly pay attention to the spiritual realm of existence, the spiritual nature of things, right? And try to look at that language, listen to that language. Many, there are those who just don't, they're not connected that way. And so when they see life, it's very linear in scope. Their perspectives of life is very rigid, very ABC-ish, right? Nothing, no essence to it, no meaning, no color or flavor. You understand? But there are those of us who do pay attention to these type of things, and I noticed this out of this sister, and I noticed it out of some other individuals as well, but it was more prominent. Now, I wasn't of those who was able to stay in behind, because the next day I had work to do, and I've got a family to feed and support, so I had to make my way back to Ohio. um, but I did get the notice that those who did remain, that they did get to meet the brother and the family and the soldiers, and apparently they had a pretty decent time. So salute to the brothers and sisters, that were there. They must have been a blast. If I had to envy anything, it's those that stayed, because I would have wanted to make sure I was there and be with the peoples, right? But we have things to do. We can't always. I can't be everywhere at the same time. It'd be nice if I could. Split up, and I'm in two different places at the same time. But that's not how this life works right now. Anyway, the reason why um, I admire uh, what I saw out of Sister K Money, and this was my first time ever meeting the sister in person, and her companions, her associates. Um, and even before that, there was a brother, there was a couple other sisters, supporters. The brother had come from Atlanta, Georgia. You understand, to support the cause. Came from Atlanta, Georgia, and although he came, with the idea that the court date was going to be on the 25th. The fact that he came, you understand, you got to understand what's in a person that makes a person move a certain way. You understand, when they could be doing 101 other things that same day with the same energy, but when they say no, I'm going to take this time. I don't care how far it is, but I'm going to go to this place because there's something there, that you know that I believe in. There's a cause that I am a supporter of, and quoting the sister, supporter of the NFAC and the cause that Grandmaster J is associated with. And so think about this. Think about not just coming from Georgia, but coming from a whole country, not far away as far as countries are concerned. It's a border. It's bordering the north, but to make this endeavor. You understand? You're not talking about anyone, but we're talking about someone who daily, emphasizes her honor and appreciation. You understand, and her respect for the NFAC and brother Grandmaster J. Right. So, in this situation, you have someone who's putting their words with putting their action with their words. You understand, you know, and I can recall. uh, when I was talking at one time with her, that she was like, "I want to make sure I'm there." And I'm paraphrasing roughly. Um, if just to wave, the flag, you know what I'm saying, to wave the banner. And I thought about, I'm listening not just to the words, but that's why I can't quote word for word, but I'm listening to the passion, the spiritual motivation behind those words. And I'm listening. I'm like, wow, that's that's what this is about. I said, that's what this is about. What she's feeling right there, that's what this is about. Something that many people miss. They're too busy looking for nooks and crannies, that they're missing something very special. You understand? You get a coloring book, the coloring book is plain. It doesn't take on any life until you start adding the colors to the different pictures. Similarly, you have substance when you have faith in something, when you value something, when you have an appreciation for something, an honor for something, you understand, that's other than you. Many of these naysayers, you'll find that absent. It's they're not they're not looking because they want to consider that, hey, this there's something special going on here, but they're looking for something for themselves. So it's a selfish glare that the naysayers have. It's nothing to do with an interest of the cause. Because if you're truly interested in the cause, then there's going to be a sense of selflessness. It's not about you, but it's about the whole, right? So that's something that I saw going on with Sister K Money. Something, a selflessness, a sense of selflessness, and to me, like I said, that's something that's very honorable in a person. It says a lot about a person, and I know I could just imagine. I could be wrong, but I know that the sister was full of joy upon meeting the brother. I just, even though I wasn't there in person, you know what I mean. I saw some of the pictures and whatnot that they took. I can just imagine that that was a moment of joy, and it's that kind of joy, is that type of um, experience, you know, that ends up becoming something bigger in life than just a single moment. You understand? It's these type of hearts, these type of minds that end up sparking a forest fire, so to speak. You understand? Yes, indeed. So we salute. I definitely want to salute K Money. Um, you know, uh, I mean, literally all at prior to that, all we had known, each other by is YouTube, lives and talks and stuff like that. But when you actually get to meet people in person, you get to, see something about the real person. I mean, I'll bet some of the people there, they said, "Oh, we thought you were taller. We thought you were taller than this." And I'm thinking to myself, taller? Really? I'm like 5'8", right? Not that tall at all. Everybody else is tall. I mean, even my spouse, everybody's taller than me. But um, I just think that if you had 100 people like that, 1,000 people like that, who could stop you? Who could that's the kind of energy, you understand? I mean, that achieves so much. I'm okay. Here, let me do it this way. I'm not speaking on behalf of a Christian or anybody like that. I'm simply quoting a story or sourcing something here. Um, about, I would advise you, next time you come across a Bible or something, to just reread the stories or the narrations regarding the Messiah Jesus, and really try to understand what the disciples of Jesus were going through. I'm not talking about Jesus as if he was, God per se. Um, I'm talking about as a human, you understand, who those around him saw much to admire. You understand? Because they saw authenticity. You understand what I'm saying? They saw authenticity. Before I get onto that, the point that I want to drive to that goes there is, how can I put it? You have to understand that what one's like the sister is was drawn to, and when you're drawn to people in this way, it's like I said, it's more than just some kind of earthly, carnal type of love. You understand? It's not that, but really, it's a kind of love that's manifesting from recognizing God in somebody. I'm hoping you understand what I'm saying here because I'm trying to say something that the words in English kind of don't do me any justice, right? But when you recognize God in somebody, when you recognize the presence, it's it it affects you in a different way than the everyday person you may meet. You know something is there. You can't say what it is, you can't describe it, but something is happening there, and I need to be a part of it. I need to get to where this is at because there's something going on that's meaningful in life. You understand? To the regular Joe, to the regular person, they're looking at, well, what are you talking about? Oh, that brother? What? What's the big deal? That's how the average person would look at things because they're not seeing the whole picture. They're not seeing divine events happening. You understand? When you start recognizing things that that are connected with the revolutions of the earth itself, things that are, you know, that are capable of changing or directing the movement of a people. You understand? You got to understand that there's a greater hand involved, and it may not always be recognized by words, like somebody yapping and talking and stuff, but sometimes it's just understood. It's just known. You understand? You just know. And that's why I said before, like I said before, I personally I respect anywhere where I see real. And if anything, I could say that this moment gave me a much, much, much greater respect for Sister K Money than ever before because I saw someone really, you know, um, moving towards what's in their heart. You understand? That's keeping it real. That's someone keep being real about what's in them. You understand? And some people they wear masks. They come in disguise. They hide schemes. They hide games, shenanigans, if you would. Some people, uh, wolves in sheep's clothing. But when you do the math in this scenario, you only found someone when the smoke clears, someone worthy of respect. Because if a person is real there, just think about the character in general. You understand? Just think about the character. If you find this in like the example I'm giving you is with Sister K Money. If you find this in such a person, how is the person in general? You understand? How's the person in everyday life? You understand? I'm not saying that nobody's like, walking on water perfect or something like that. We're talking about human beings. But there's something in the character of a person that's like who they are. You understand? It's who they are. It's what they are about. It's how they manifest their life. Positive or negative, pro, con, whatever the case may be, is how they manifest their life. And so that there that showed that really was for me that was a moment because I when I meet people when I see people yeah I say words and greet and all that kind of stuff but in me I'm one of those who observe inside more than I do outside. You understand? You know, because maybe, I developed this as a means to protect myself from harm. I grew up in a um, very rough way, very rough upbringing. So I kind of had to really learn people. You understand? Really learn motives and aims and what are they up to, and so out of that there's a flip side. While you can dig out the negative in somebody, you can also extract and learn of the beauty, the joy in somebody, the goodness in somebody, the goodness in their heart, right? And that's what I found there because I'm thinking like, really, you as an individual came all this way, you understand, to manifest what's in your heart. So yeah, that's a these are soldiers, folks. These are soldiers. This is what makes a soldier. These are the things that this is the material for that makes soldiers. That makes um. I mean, if we could go back in the days of like monarchies and stuff like that, those would have been right hand people. Those would have been your advisors. Those would have been your comrades, your nobles. You understand? Because these are the people that you sit at the table and say, look, these are the people that you know I believe in these people. You understand? I believe in these people. Um. Anyway, the reason why I mentioned about my recommendation to reread the biblical narrations or the narrations in general, chronic and biblical together, of Messiah Jesus is not because I'm trying to get you to be religious or something, but I want you to try to connect with a story and look at the character, the behavior of the disciples as they respond to Messiah Yeshua. And look at it in a human sense. Don't look at it in some above the clouds, beyond outer space type stuff. Just look at us as brothers and sisters, from around the way. If you went out of your house and went into their house, this is what you see. You understand? And then try to somehow find a way to understand divine love. That's the love I'm talking about here. Whatever you might have thought about the title, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a real, true spiritual love that's not tainted with perversities, uh, hidden motives of selfishness. It's not perverted with pride. It's not perverted with just the other side of the axis. It's not. It doesn't contain those things, but it really contains that type of ingredient that comes from sincere admiration. Like when you see someone and you see what they do, and you say that's truth right there. God was right there just then. God was there just then. When you've got that interaction, that person who's the seer of the moment, that person's in love. That person's in love. That person is swooning in divine love. Something that's rare, and that's why people in this day and age have a hard time coping and dealing with that word, because it's so rare to them that they don't see it anywhere, so they don't even think that it's something real, and then they try to apply it to things that it has nothing to do with. They try to apply it to mundane passions, vain desires, things like that, silly emotions, low level emotions. They try to tie it with all of that instead of a truly pure divine experience. Is when you are at your most purest state. If you could ever be sincere or righteous or enlightened, that borderline, that part that enters the door into that, even if it's just a fleeting moment, just a little moment of experience, that was love you experienced. You understand? If you can remember going back and being held in your mother's arms and you lost it, you didn't think about anything else in life, but you just cherished that moment. in your mother's arms, or your father's, or your spouse's, or any moment where you had that one single moment, you understand, that you lost yourself. You understand? You weren't thinking about you. You weren't thinking about any uh, aims of the world, any greeds, any selfish desires. You weren't thinking about none of that. You were completely lost of yourself. The only thing that mattered was the moment that you were in at the time. What I'm describing to you are some of the ingredients, some of the bites, if you will, the niblets, because it's a bigger word than I could ever talk about, of love. It's a divine language. It's real, it's true. It just doesn't mean what many of the dust dwellers like to confine the word to, like to abuse the word with. So, yes, indeed, in this particular live, I definitely want to salute Sister K Money because, if you had been observing for some time, they've the powers that be have had all kinds of ways with her YouTube channel. She's had to bounce from one channel to another channel, and every time she pop up, and her words are consistent. Her words are consistent. Nobody paying her, nobody giving her something behind the desk or something, but being consistent with what is in her. You understand? About the moment, about the brother, about the cause. You understand? If you play one live, you hear the same content through and through and through. These are sincere. This is what comes from sincerity. You understand? Like I said, look at the story. Look at those stories. Look at it in the human level. Like you were reading a report about your neighbor or something. Look at those Bible verses that talk about how the disciples responded when they would be in the presence of Messiah Yeshua. And for my brothers of the faith that we call it, we are called Muslims. I say, look at the stories about how the companions of the prophet, how they responded to him when he came along, when he showed up on the scene. What was their behavior towards him? How did they respond? And I can even go even further. If you look at the people who learned under the teachings of Siddhartha, also called the Buddha, look at how they responded. Look at how the student of Confucius treated his teacher. Look at how these people treated the people that they really admired, and what was the kind of admiration that they had. These things are rare today because people are so greedy, so selfish, so self-centered, so hatred. This is the reason why people can't unify, except the people who will unify. And the reason why the people who will unify will is because of moments like what Sister K demonstrated. You get 100 of those, 100K monies, 100 anything like that. There's unity is going to happen there somewhere in that. Unity is going to happen somewhere. It would be inevitable. I wouldn't believe the story if it didn't. If you told me no, it didn't happen, I wouldn't believe you. I wouldn't believe you because there's too much um divine passion involved. Look up stories that talk about divine passion. You understand? Look up talks about that, like poems. And I mean, there's poems like ascetic poets who, when you hear their poems, you could just tell they're just drowning in divine passion, divine love. You understand? Their whole, they breathe in what that means, and they exhale, what that means. It's all, it's like if you could just imagine, you know, when a person drowns in the ocean, that's catastrophic. But when you're drowning in divine love, it's just the opposite. Just saying. So that's the main reason why I consider to come on this live right here, because like I said, I'm a person. I don't like to just run out and say, hey, I like to sit there and think about the moments that I go through in my life, like, what does that mean? what did I take from that? Here, all I didn't get to go. I didn't get to like I said, I didn't get to hang out with the brothers and sisters, as they did later on. Um, but I was able to consolidate my experiences and reflect upon them, and then you know uh, put it where I could see it and say, okay. So yeah, I think one of the things that I really think that needs that needs to materialize out of moments like these is the sense of familyhood, if you would, for lack of better words. Familyhood, because these type of people are people that I mean, there's another and I'm not going to be able to pronounce the name right. Hold on a second here, because I want to try. There's another. I'm gonna just speak anonymously about it because I can't. I don't want to butcher her name. But there's another sister who, just to show you how people are when they really care about a cause, when they really care about the substance of something, the divine substance, the divine essence of what they're experiencing. And a person came, they heard of my my difficult journey, if you would, and just out of the blue, just started coming with, supporting me, in you know, in selfless ways, like it wasn't even nothing, like it was like no thing, like here, take this. And I'm, I'm looking like, like I told them, like, well, I'm like I am with food that I like to eat. I'm not gonna turn it down. Like I'm not gonna be holier than thou. Like, no, I do not want that from you. Nothing like that, right? Especially when you know your times are difficult. So, but you do show appreciation. You understand when people look out for you. You understand? So I definitely salute ones like those. Um, I got a sister who's been supporting the Soul Journey of Life platform consistently. This is what I mean. You got to look at the actions that people put forth when they don't really have any worldly reason to do it. You understand? They don't have any worldly reason to do these things, meaning nothing. There's no fame that's going to come from it. No, um, big plaque or something that they're going to get for behaving this way, for doing these things. They're not going to get that in this life. Maybe, I mean, it could, but when they're doing these things, that you recognize that there's these other things aren't their motivation for doing it, but they genuinely, sincerely believe. And to all those who have this bone to pick with the word believe, you understand? I'm saying to you, you really need to reflect upon um, the essential meaning of spiritual language. Yeah, I could possibly agree with you that in mundane earth dwelling, dust dwelling language, it's probably a corrupted word, an abused word that its meaning is so belittled, so corrupted that um, it's now a tool of deception. But when you are communicating in a um, on a spiritual plane, a spiritual level, words take on a more wholesome meaning, a more innocent meaning. You understand? In order to be able to conversate, if you're going to speak words at all in out the mouth. Um, some adepts, they don't even need to speak. They'll sit there for hours and nobody said a word. Um, but yet everybody understood what's been spiritually said. So let's see here. I was looking. Here's I like doing this sometimes with words. If I say a word, I like to just kind of type it up and see what pops up as a general definition. This one's being sourced from the Oxford Dictionary. Believe. Um, and its pronunciation word uses um, B, the letter B, the consonant B, and the vowel E. Then it has like a the note the intonation where you pause, and then L, and then this accented or what do you call it? What is it? Strong vowel. That's what I was trying to think. Strong vowel E. When you get the line above the E, that means it's a strong vowel. And then V. Why am I saying this? Because some people like to take a spin on the modern version of the spelling and say be lie, and it doesn't even have the same origin based upon its pronunciation. When you deal with pronunciation in language, when you deal with pronunciation in language, you got to source its spoken origin, its phonetic origin. Where did these sounds come from, or how were they used, or what meanings were carried with them when these sounds were made in this way? And then deal with the intonation. Then you'd want to deal with the grammatical renderings of it. You learn a lot when you do that. Like for example, the word an is a singular word, is an indefinite article, like like a bat, and apple. And is simply another variation of a. I don't mean to give everybody a grammatical lesson here, but I guess I have to in order to put my point out. Um, so and is literally the same thing, even though you have different spellings, a and n, and then just an a. They're literally the same. They mean the same thing. The only difference is whether the word that follows is beginning with a hollow consonant or a verb, like honest, an honest man, and not a honest man, an honest man, an apple, but a book, a bat, a cookie. See, when you have a hard consonant, it's always going to have a. When you have a hollow consonant or a vowel, it's going to always have an. It's the same sound. If you don't, if you really don't take a look into grammar and orthography, all the terms that revolve around language, um, you'll be hindered when it comes to um, further meanings of certain words in any language, because many languages they derive their origin from other languages anyway, as we know, especially this language that we're speaking now. So in the case of believe, we have to render it the same way. When I was talking about the word and, the Arabic word that has a similar sound, when we say an, that's how it's pronounced. And in Arabic, ana, and it means I. Notice that the word in English still refers to a singular object, not more than one. The only difference is when you say an or and not the, it implies there could be more than one. If I say to you, I have a cup, that implies there could be other cups, but the the subject matter of the sentence is a singular cup that I happen to have with me, a cup. Now, if there's only one cup in the house and it's the one that everyone uses, then you can use the definite article, the cup. You see this, or if it's some special value or some significance, it means more than anything else. You don't have nothing else like it. The cup, the book. Like for example, when you talk about the Quran or the Bible or the Vedic or something, you call these the books with capital, meaning they have some exclusive importance, um, as opposed to a book. Libraries are filled with books, so you have this is a book of books, and on it goes. So I'm saying this because there's something in sounds. You understand? There's something in the nature of sounds. when it comes to the way people communicate, when it comes to the sounds that come from people's voice, regardless of your language, regardless of what you say out of your mouth, regardless of what words or what language system you're using. You can even test this with crystals. If you took some crystals and poured it in water and set it where it can freeze or whatever, or allow it to what I want to say, crystallize. That's the word I was looking for. You'll find that the crystallization process can be altered by the sound of your voice. Certain sounds have positive, meaning, and I'm saying this both in an electrical sense and in metaphysical sense. Positive, um, um, uh, what I want to say, they have positive results, you know, in the effects that happen in the crystallization, and some have negative. You understand? Some have negative. So, for example, if you played loud heavy metal with the da 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 da, right, just obnoxious madness, right? And this is nothing against heavy metal. It's just it's obnoxious and mad. But and how can I say so? Because the crystals will say so. And there's something I'm getting to here. So pay attention, follow along. Um, the crystals will have this very chaotic crystallization forming. It won't, if you took a microscope, it would be very chaotic of an image. It won't look like it makes any sense whatsoever. The crystallization. But if it was soothing, like understand what's going on here. Ha ha sounds like that, right? Even short sound. The crystallizations they form into harmonious patterns. They make patterns. If you ever seen a snowflake, then you understand what I'm talking about because those are patterns, and each snowflake has its own pattern. Well, the crystallization it starts to form in harmonizing patterns that end up with these beautiful renderings. You understand? That's just from the sound of the human voice or any sound at all. So understand what's happening here. Then understand why certain sounds are considered sacred. Certain sounds are considered holy. Why certain sounds are considered profane. Is more than just the context of the words itself. You know what I mean? Is more than just how the words are understood by the populace, by people, but it's the way that is delivered. Often, and most of these words that are profane, they're delivered in a very harsh, negative way. So you got to understand the nature of your body too. Within your infrastructure are crystallizing qualities. You understand? In the center of your nucleus, each of the nucleus of your cells is crystallizing qualities. In the way the proteins go about your body, the DNA strands, for example, there's so many aspects in your body where similar effects are going on that are similar to crystallization. So think about that the next time you listen to some of that harsh stuff that you listen to. Think about how it's actually affecting your physical body. You understand? That's why the old saying goes. Well, it's not an old saying, but it's a verse. Basically, it translates this into avoid vain talk. Lagwa is the Arabic word for vanity. Vanity. Avoid vain talk. Not just because it's something you shouldn't do, because literally it's harmful to your health. Vanity, vain talk, corrupt talk, foul talk, harsh talk. We're taught not to be harsh to one another. Stop. Don't speak harshly to your spouse. Don't speak harshly to your children. Out of place. Right. It's harmful to your health, to your nature, and understand that your physical is tied to your mental and spiritual. Merkaba. You understand? It's all tied together. What can affect one eventually affects all the other aspects of your being. So think about that. Think about how you feel. It's common for a person to hum a happy hum when they're happy. Somebody's sitting there stirring in the pot. Happy hums. happy hums, soothing hums. You don't hear nobody like while they're cooking some pot, some food in their pot, right? You don't hear them with humming heavy metal tunes or something, right? You hear them humming something that makes them feel joyful, full of joy. Spiritual language, family, is going on here. Spiritual conversations, and the thing that I'm wanting to drive in is, for me, spiritual is just as relevant as the physical. You understand? I know some, and the reason, some people, there might be those who don't agree, but often that is because the terms have been misused, and so what it means, it doesn't mean anything to them because the terms have been used. We're speaking the English language right now, so often we have no choice but to regard certain choice words to um, interpret what we're trying to say. I mean, if I said Ruhu Kudus, many heads would be like, "What did he say? Who Ruhu what?" Exactly. So I'd have to say Holy Spirit, right? And then even if I say Holy Spirit, I have to break down what I'm talking about so you don't confuse me with, some type of misguidance of some sort. Um, so for example, holy, if you look up the term, it in its base form, not in its derived form, its attributed form when it comes to certain doctrines, but in its base form, it simply means pure without stain, right? Pure without stain. It doesn't have any stain. If you think about the sound, the phonetic sound of where holy comes from, holios is a term referring to the aura or the corona of the sun. Okay, and if you think about that, the sun of the corona of the sun it doesn't have anything that would be impure. It's a ball of burning helium. You understand? So think about these things and think about how they're all connected, how they're all interconnected. Every day you're absorbing the helium, and or let me say this way: you're absorbing the holiness of the sun. Oh man, he's a polytheist now, am I? Or am I talking about something based upon the meaning of words? Okay, because for me, wheresoever I turn my neck, you understand, there is the divine presence, the divine face. Wheresoever I turn my neck, closer to me than my jugular vein are we. You understand? So um I'm talking about words and in their most base forms, in their most basic meanings. You understand? So when something doesn't have pollutants in it, isn't tainted with anything that would be corrupt, you would say it's pure or holy. If your mind is clear of any type of shame, any type of doubts, any type of vulgarity or enmity in your heart, if those things aren't present there, then whatever comes to your thought, excluding all these, it would be pure. It would be holy. You would be considered enlightened. What kind of communication will come out of the mouth of one like that? If a person's mind isn't tainted with selfish desires, greed, arrogance, if a person's mind doesn't have these corruptive ingredients, what words would they say? Would they be saying evil words or holy words? You tell me. If the flames of the sun aren't corrupted, if they're and you absorb them into your body, when you step outside, you absorb its pure energy. What kind of energy are you absorbing from some? Does it mean that the sun is to be deified? It does not. We're talking about the nature of things. We're talking about the nature, the essence of things. Like I said, when you dive into the spiritual conversation, the spiritual realm, everything that you look at, everything is associated with the conversation. From the ant that walks on the ground to the star that shines in the sky, everything is associated with this divine conversation. Isn't it interesting how I go from, you know, how I went from going from talking about someone who was manifesting what for me was a form of divine love towards um their companion, their friend, their someone that they look up to or admire or see something that they can appreciate. There was a spark there. There was a spark there, and then it went on to this. It's all still part of the same conversation, believe it or not. It's all part of the same conversation. It's just if you ever take a kaleidoscope, you could look at the same image with the kaleidoscope. But the thing about a kaleidoscope is the more you spin it around, the image changes. Even if you're aiming the kaleidoscope at the same image and you don't move it anywhere else, every time you turn the kaleidoscope, the perspectives that come back to your sight will be changed. So it's all connected. It's all connected, family. Um, let's see here. I've got this. I believe it's there. I got this link that's in the chat here. It should be there. Maybe I need to pin it. Pin it. Yeah, pin the link to the chat. I put it there in case anybody feels um motivated to break bread in this conversation. This is just the thing about a spiritual conversation or spiritual circle is people that come to the circle, you don't know where on the planet they came from. All you know is that they're with you, and we're speaking the same language. You understand? We're speaking the same language, family. That's something that doesn't come with labels. You understand? It doesn't have any labels. It's just recognized. It's just understood, recognized. It's just that. You know, um, the Arabic formula for that same meaning is ma'arafat, cognizance in English, cognizance. Um, and we often tend to regard cognizance with uh, a level of awareness and our ability to interpret a reality with a thorough brain, a clear mind. Think about that. Think about um, what I said when if your mind is clear of rancor, envy, jealousy, envy, doubts, any kind of hatred. If you're clear from all those things, what kind of words would you say? If you were going to speak, what kind of words would they say? And here's the thing: if what you are saying in that state of mind, it would have to be only truth, I should say. If the words you're saying are true, then whose words are those? I'm just, whose words are those? If truth is the voice or the divine voice, if you will, the divine language, and we say, well, that's the voice or the language or the speech, if you will, the logos of God. Then when you're speaking true, what's coming out of your mouth? And when you look in like the Bible, anytime it talked about, I think I'm regarding like the books of Samuel and books in that area. It would speak of holy ones, one, and then in the same in a similar passage, it would identify a prophet. What I'm talking about here, you, okay, each of us, when you look out of your eyes, you're seeing a human being, right? You're seeing the form of a human, but you don't always get to see. If most often you're not going to see, because most of us are looking with earth vision, if you will, for lack of better words. We're looking with these dusty eyes in the world, at the world around us. We don't tend to look with the spiritual eyesight. um, for whatever the reason. We've got so many anchors, so many things holding us down, so much baggage that's bogging us around. Logs in our eyes, if you would. So it makes it hard to see. But often, you'd be surprised at how often the likelihood of holy ones sitting next to you and not even knowing it, just for even a moment. Like I said, if a person is, if one is speaking truth to you, I'm not talking about what the form that the person is manifesting. I'm talking about the sound, its origin, where the context comes from, the spirit of it's coming from. You understand? Then what's going on there? What's present there? What's present at that time when you were touched by what was said? Even that it came out of the mouth, even if it came out of the mouth of a person whose presence or figure is recognized as hideous or despicable, or people make fun of the person, or see them as um, foul. But you heard something, and you heard truth. So I'm asking you, where's the source? What's the source of this? I talked earlier at the beginning about divine love, and that often when what makes a person, a person will climb mountains, cross seas. If they could take a space shuttle, they would use that to get closer to those they have a divine love with, because what attracted them to that manifesting of divine love was the presence of God, wherever it may have been recognized the most, or felt, if you would. I want to use the word felt for now. Wherever it was felt, they want to be closer to the source, like kind of like a person who's cold wants to be closer to the sun light, the sun's heat. Like, hey, I want to go where it's warm. They want to get closer to the warmth of the sun. Well, they want to get closer to the warmth of the divine presence that they heard or that they felt or connected with when someone spoke holy words. See, holy words, contrary to harsh, corrupt, deceptive, lying words, filthy words, they crystallize in the heart a certain way, in a way that softens the heart, in a way that lightens the heart. Think about the word enlightenment. Think about how light is used for two concepts, or even three when I think about it. One being light, as in the light when you turn on a light switch. Another being light, as in like a feather, a weight, and then another one as in light, as in illuminated, as in knowledge, awareness. And all these are using the same word light. Isn't that interesting? They all use the same word light. In order to ascend up in the sky, you have to be light. You can't be heavy and ascend. In order to see in the night, you've got to have light. You can't see in the light without light. In order to be aware of anything, you have to have light. Can't be aware of anything without any light. So no matter how you put it, to ascend, you need light. To see, you need light. To understand, you need light. And this is how you recognize that divine voice. And that divine voice will crystallize in your heart in an organized, orderly way, not a corrupt, harsh way that would be harmful to your essence. Notice I said your essence and not your body, because sometimes the more upright you become, for some reason, the more enemies like to show themselves. Sometimes, you understand, the more opponents want to show themselves. And you may find that the more thorough, the more authentic ones are fewer from the audience of the people. I remember somebody was asking, one time in a conversation, a live or something like that. What happened to all the members of the NFAC? As far as I was concerned, they were all there. All the ones that needed to be there, they were there. I'd rather, personally, I can't speak for the brother, but personally, I'd rather have a few loyal soldiers rather than 1,000 devils. You understand? Surrounding me. That's just my perspective. I'd rather have a handful of loyal soldiers who I can rely on, who are solid, than 1,000 devils who I don't know what the heck they're going to do at any given moment. You know, and so they were there. I think I was looking at a live that the sister was putting out there, and she her words expressed an admiration for the NFAC. She had an admiration for the presence there. She said they listen to the words, listen to the love language, the divine love language, folks. Listen to the divine love language. Um, I'm going to try to quote a little bit. Uh, she said that they made her feel comfortable. I believe the word was comfortable. Listen to what compelled her to say that. What motivated her to say out of that experience that she had in the presence of the brothers and sisters of the NFAC, they made her feel comfortable. I'm just saying those are words that lovers use. Look it up. Go dig into the ancient archives. Dig out some of the ancient stuff, some of the ancient poems of ancient sages, and listen to their love language. Listen to their love language, and you'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. The reason why the fools, the dumb, deaf, and blind can never get it, the reason why they're always going to be naysayers, they're always going to be backbiters, slanderers, haters, stabbers, is because they can't hear this. They can't hear this. They can't participate at that meal. You understand? They can't participate. They can't sup in with these. You understand? They can't sup at this type of table. So it's always confusing to them. They don't know what the heck's going on. They don't know how to interpret what the heck they're seeing. Dumb, deaf, and blind. Sumum bukmun umyum for whom la yarji'un. Dumb, deaf, and blind, and they will not return to the proper way. They will not return to the proper way. That's why it's hard for them. That's why often when you hear their talk about anything that happens when people come to unify, not looking for the rancor and hate, they're there on the fundamental principle of what it means to be unified. Period. But when your egos and your selfish desires are in the way, it's hard for you to see. You can't see that element. All you're looking for is some dirt to find, some blemish. You understand? Some stain, some filth or tainting on the garments. Hey, what's that spot right there you got? That must mean something. You must not be the holy man we thought you were, because I see a spot right, a speck. Listen to the language, folks. That's all you have to do. Listen to people's language. That tells you everything you need to know. Listen to the things that they bank on most. You know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. One of the things that I admire about even Grandmaster Jay for quite a time now, when I would listen to the uh, the facts over feelings in the morning mentals or whatnot, is people were during some of those times people were saying all kinds of mess about the brother, but his conversation was focused on whatever his focus was on. That's what his conversation. He wasn't even. It's like the world that conversation was a part of was something other than the world that these naysayers and backbiters and slanderers were upon. Two different worlds. You understand? Just go if you ever go back and if some of those things are still some of these YouTubes or whatever, go back and listen to the conversation, and then know that at the same time there were folks on other lives or on other YouTube channels slandering and dogging and all kinds of stuff. But the you got to understand how how a conversation that comes from within flows. You understand? Versus when something is fake, when something is artificial. Because when something is artificial, ego gets in the way, right? Ego gets in the way because, like, oh, they said that. Oh, I gotta say something. I gotta, chop that down. I gotta do something. This wasn't the case with the brother. Brother had the conversation that he was focused on giving. That this is what he has to say. It has nothing. It's not moved because these people said this or these people said that. This is what's on the plate for today, and this is what we're talking about, regardless. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you can imagine it raining and someone walking through and not even getting wet. You know, so someone just walking through, it's raining, no matter. I've got to get over there. I'm right here. I got to get there, and that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I left from that spot, and that's why I'm going to that spot. This. It has nothing to do with it. If it's in the way, I will make like water, go over it, around it, through it, even. So, language, divine language, family, and it's not always the what do I say? It doesn't always come in the form that the holier than thou ones would appreciate. Sometimes people are looking for any and everything wrong. Oh, he said this, he said that, she said this, she said that, and this is I don't like that because you shouldn't say it that way. You shouldn't say it this way. You know what I mean? I would be surprised. I wouldn't even be surprised, I should say, if I mean, I don't know if it would happen if the person would have done something like this or not. But imagine if we could take a time machine and go back in the time of Messiah Yeshua, and we catch them all on the couch, and they're sitting there just like chilling back, like, what's up? Right? You that would probably catch you off guard because the notion that people have regarding righteous conduct is skewed by this. Look, much of how we consider etiquette has been influenced by the powers that be. You understand? What we think is the good thing to do, the righteous conduct. A lot of it has been skewed and distorted by the powers that be. If you know that the powers that be are liars and deceivers and corrupters, then wouldn't that mean we need to evaluate the idea of righteousness? You understand the idea of what is righteous conduct, a righteous approach. You understand what is upright, what is good character, what is nobility. Wouldn't that mean that we need to reevaluate all the things that um, we've been programmed with from them, even if it was candy coated with you know righteous biblical sourcing or chronic sourcing or whatever. You understand? Because it'd be like that. I mean, they'll um, be quick to shout out to you in a Disney movie some noble deed. But then, in the same token, the same people were in them being corrupt and involving in some kind of illicit filth. Same people, but here they are telling you something righteous to do. So there's things to think about. Like I said, we're talking about human people, um, in our way that we respond to each other. But these are just things that I noticed. That I notice when it comes to um, those who are truly about unity versus those who are not. Their language is the same when they're amongst their peers. Their language is the same. Those who are about unity, their language is the same. Of all those who are truly about, I'm not talking about those who just say out their mouth that they're about what unity means. Peace and blessings, big brother, boss man Blake. Shalom. I'm not talking about those who say out their mouth that they are about unity. I'm talking about those who are about unity. That's my word. Those who are about unity versus those who either say they're about unity or clearly demonstrate otherwise. Okay. In the case here, there's a love language. utilized by the people who are truly about unification. There's a love language, and they are all using it, and it sometimes is accompanied with humility, forms of humility, forms of the good kind of pride, proud, the pride that you enjoy being what it is that you manifest. You understand? The Prophet Muhammad was asked about pride one time. He said, the one person came, well, people like to look good and they like to feel good about themselves and da 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 da. And he says, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when people look down upon other people, when they're basically, in translation, hating on other folks. You understand? Hating on other folks for no real reason. You got a house, you shining. You get up today, your hair's glowing, you building up, you going to work, just moving around. You come back home, and on the way, somebody's looking at you with a mug like, like you wondering where did that come from? I ain't do nothing to him. What are you hating on me for? Because there's envy there. There's envy. Understand the language. Understand the language. Look at what people will. This is what they will produce. You understand? One saying, you know them by their deeds, their fruits. So you got to understand their language. People of unity speak with the language, and I'm talking about real unity. I'm not just about any kind of unity, because there's all kinds of unity. You understand? You've got white supremacist unity. That's a kind of unity. You've got, and it may not necessarily be a bad thing, essentially, because all some groups are saying is that they love their own people. In many ways, we may need to take some pointers. I'm just saying, we may need to take some pointers. All the brothers said we need to take pointers from white supremacist groups. Yeah, because many of you fooling around. You don't even love yourself. You will put your own folks on the chopping block. You understand? Without even a second guess. I'm just saying. Maybe there's some point. Maybe they got a point somewhere in there. Some of the parts, of course, nobody wants anybody coming at us the wrong way, attacking us, hitting us up, killing us and stuff. Of course, we have a right to defend ourselves. But I'm talking about when you stand up for your own people. I can respect them. Leave our women alone. Fine. I ain't touching your women. I don't want your women. Leave our women. Leave our women alone. While you're playing, leave our women alone. I'm just saying because I can recall a conversation I had with a white supremacist before. I've had some conversations with white supremacists throughout my time, and this one was of a more of an intellectual caliber. So we were able to build a little bit. I like when I can build and I can sense that, hey, you're not just rambling about, you're not just running your mouth in vain, but you actually have some substance behind what you're saying. So I heard him out. We were able to agree intelligently to disagree at much of what was said, but I could understand his position at the end of the conversation. I could see where he was coming from. You understand? And he was able to see where I was coming from. And the thing is that in many ways, we were talking the same words, just on different sides of the playing field. It's like, I don't even want to use the Cleveland Browns, but it's like one football team versus another. They're gonna speak the language of their team. They're gonna shout all the chants and cheers for their team. Um, so when I'm shouting the chant. Yeah, I know. Trust me. I you'd be surprised. I've been around some people, man, and growing up, like I said, I've had kind of a rugged life with a diverse, uh, you know, upbringing and whatnot. All kinds of people, and I've heard all kinds of conversations. Sometimes my presence was a unique presence. You understand, and it birthed certain conversations that I had no choice but to listen to and hear. Um, but it taught me a lot about uh the ways that some people think. um and so yeah, we in many ways, me and this person, we were talking like like the north and south pole. You understand? Opposites, but opposites like in a mirror. Like if you were to look in the mirror and I'm moving my right hand and the mirror looks like it's moving its left. Opposites like that. Um, because he was talking about um the things of why he favors being for his people basically. Um, and the conversation to make a long story short, the conversation came to the point where I'm asking, well, why uh what out of your way and makes you feel entitled to rule or to subject other people as subservient to you, because that's where the line would be drawn for me. It's no problem that you want to stick to your own people. You understand? There's no problem that, if I was a doctor and you needed my aid, that you would hire me and pay me, its worth. You understand? But the problem that, many of us have that's not the same as you is that, I that that you see us as someone that should be subject, you understand, to you. Many of the I'm talking about this many of these groups, they literally have doctrines that teach them to have this certain mindset that our kind, if you will, or because I don't even like to say kind, because we're not a kind, we're actually the humans. You understand? Look it up if you want to understand what I'm talking about. They are actually a kind. You understand? So historically speaking, archaeologically speaking, um, but you feel that we should be somehow subject because you feel like you're the height of evolution. You're and anything else is subservient, should be subservient to you. And so, well, that's where we disagree, because when we're talking about unification and loving our people, it's something more, something with more substance that means um it's kind of mercy towards one another that we're striving for as well. You understand? Towards one another. When we're talking about black power, we don't mean to dominate somebody else. When we're talking about black power, we're talking about uplifting ourselves. Are you good? I'm good. You good? You good? Okay, that right there. You know what I mean? You need something? You need some. You what? You need some help with something? I'm looking. You looking out for me looking out for you. That's black power. Me helping you stand up. You helping me stand up. You understand? You getting strong, me applauding your strength, me getting strong, you applauding my strength, getting stronger. So it's a whole different language from what this guy was talking about. So when you guys are out there, you can see the rage and the hatred in your eyes. It's unmistakable. Nobody even has to call it. You could see it. You understand? Now compare that when brothers and sisters get together on some black power stuff. Compare that. You don't see any rancor or hatred. You see courage, you see bravery, you see, honorability. A big difference, family. Language. And back to that, just so we can try to, round this element up. Like I said, the people who are really about unity, they speak with the language, the divine love language. That's the language they speak with. I don't care what choices of English words you may use, because most of this is messy anyway. You understand? Never mind all that. Don't get caught up with that. But understand divine love language. People who are not about divine love, who are not about unity, they're not capable of speaking that language. And when you do speak that language, they'll find some way to try to contradict you, to to belittle the essence of what you're talking about, to find some way to slander, some way to corrupt. Somehow somehow it's like a pancake. Somehow they'll find some way to flip it over upside down and make it other than what it is, because they don't have the divine love language. They may quote unquote see themselves as religious, or you know um, spokesmen of some type of honorable way. But if that doesn't matter. That doesn't entitle, because you say you're religious, because you say you're religious, it doesn't entitle you to divine being able to speak with the divine language. It doesn't entitle you to divine to I can't even say it out of my mouth. Divine love language. You're not entitled to that. That's choice for choice, a choice body of people. The people who are truly about unity. Remember, I was talking about the English words? Well, if you look up the word uni, that part right there, it means oneness. Uni, it derives from the same sound system as the word unna. Unna, un, all those are from the same source origin. A, unna, un, uni, uni, one, even the word one. Now check this out. Since Blake is up in here, check out the word win. WIN. In its past tense word one. Listen to what I'm saying this for a reason. You can look it up in the English lexicons. WON, which is if you look up, even if you type right now, if you type the word ONE, ONE, you type that in. Let me see here. Let me do this like here because you gotta get rid of all the other suggestions. If you type in the ONE, you'll get a W, the pronunciation, a W, the upside down E, which is a on sound, and then N, which is pronounced one. So in ancient Greek, in ancient Greek, hold on just 1 second. I just want to finish this context here. In ancient Greek, there was a it was a Greek or Roman. I can't recall Greek or Roman, but amongst the group, one of their deities was known as Wadden, also pronounced Odin. Okay, Odin, Wadden with the W. Um, just so you can understand what I'm saying with the sound system, they it's variable. Like Isis is the same as Jesus in English. If you go back to the 1800s, they didn't say they said Isis. This is an example. So you have one Wadden, one ona, one, ana, look it up. You don't have to take my word for it. What's his name on Reading Rainbow, but you don't have to take my word for it. The brother on Reading Rainbow. Okay, so it looks like we've got boss coming in the stream here. So let's see what the brother has to say. Peace and
Peace and
blessings.
blessings. Peace and blessings, man. How you doing?
I'm doing
I'm
all
doing
right
all right
myself.
myself.
I
I
think
think
you're
you're.
I can hear
I
my
can hear my
echo on
echo
on
in
your
your. Oh yeah,
YouTube.
let me tighten that up for you.
Yes
Yes,
indeed.
indeed.
Yes indeed. We're up late at night with another midnight thought talk. We've now gone into about an hour and 30 minutes. Carrying on. We see that brother boss man Blake has made his presence on the platform.
Is it gone?
Yeah, I testing 1 2. Yeah, I hear it's gone.
Yeah, I had my OBS on,
Mm-hmm.
and I took my echo canceling off, so I had to turn it back on.
Yep.
Yeah,
So how's the brother doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good.
Talking
Yeah,
about go ahead, go
check
ahead.
it out. I was listening to you, talk about the divine love
Mm-hmm.
and unification, unity. Uh, one thing I've noticed, damn these glasses, is you can't expect that type of love from anybody who don't love themselves, man.
Agreed.
And the biggest issue is when it comes to unity. We understand it's needed. Like GMJ said, it's really not a damn choice. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Especially if you're trying to see better days for your people. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I heard you say earlier, a little while ago, you can have this conversation with anybody, and some people will try to tear that conversation down for whatever reason. I've never understood that.
Yeah. Like
To
that's
this
their
day.
first avenue. That's their first thing to do. Like for example, brothers and sisters that are really on love, when they have a conversation, they're trying to build. You know what I mean? They're
Right.
coming innocently. They want. Hey, he's got something to say. He's got something to say. They're going back and forth at it to build. You know what I mean? They're trying to get somewhere with the conversation. But when people are quote unquote haters, you
Right.
understand, or on something of that nature, it's not the same thing. They're looking for a shot to call. They're looking for a place to put a bullet wound. You know, they're looking for an angle at you somehow. They're not asking you questions because they're trying to learn. They're asking you questions to challenge your integrity, to challenge, find a way that they can have a one over on you. You
Right.
understand? An opening. So
Yeah.
it's a different language. It's a different language when it comes to these. And I agree. Yeah, a person definitely has to love self. It goes ties in with the not the path of knowledge of self. Um, it's a rare trait in these days, but it's not a lost trait. You know, if you look at the populace, and listen to the majority's interpretation of what love is, it's usually something um, earthbound, or as I would call dust dwelling, ground level. But when you really deal with people who really are manifesting it, often they may not even have to use the word itself, but the meaning of love is found there. You understand? So I don't know if you heard my words.
Yeah. I hear you.
The meaning of love is found there. It's like this. And I'm gonna use it synonymously. There's an old saying that the people of knowledge, um, they the people who are of knowledge, you wouldn't hear them say they are of knowledge or they know. But the
Right.
people who don't know are always saying they know, and are
Right.
always speaking as authoritative of like I know like that.
They're trying to convince you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
So
it's almost like arrogance versus confidence.
yeah,
An arrogant person is going to try to prove to you that they're better. Somebody who is confident, they're going to show you. They just going to speak to you, and you're going to pick it up. You ain't,
yes,
you have a conversation with somebody, and you know who to pull the wool over their eyes just by their conversation.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? People who tell you this is what you need to do. This is the truth. This is the fact. When you already know, like, okay, those people, I don't argue with.
Have you ever had an experience in your life where you going about your way, doing whatever you're doing? It could be shopping, it could be, just doing whatever your regular is, right? And then another person shows up, he's doing the same thing, and then another person. Next thing you know, you guys end up in a very insightful conversation. You know what I mean? And it's like you looking at each other like, yeah, 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 right? And then y'all go your separate way, and then you sitting there just chewing on it for a minute, like, man, that was some
Right.
heavy stuff we just did back there.
Yeah, I done experienced that a few times, uh, especially
Mm.
when I'm out with my partners. You know what I'm saying? We start a conversation just cooling. Next thing
Yeah,
you know, it's a crowd around us. And it turned into a conversation. I felt like that conversation
mhm,
needed to be had.
yeah,
You
yep.
know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And that's what I mean. The very fact that you could sense that there was something like historic about the moment, even divinely historic. This needed to happen. It was ordained, if you would. It
Right.
needed to happen. It needed to be manifested. Now, what I'm trying to do in the course of earlier in this conversation was to do things at like different camera angles, right? You've got a brother who undeniably has motivated many people to come out of their shells. You know what I mean? And dust off any type of cowardice and stand up and become courageous and really think about, what we're going through in our lives as a people. You have a brother who's done that. And you have people who have been moved by that. And I'm asking folks, especially the naysayers and all these, what kind of a person does that? What you can't just make this type of stuff up. You can't just grab it out of the air. You understand? It doesn't happen like that. Because if it does, then okay, then they can do it too. And
Right.
why, if it's that simple, why don't I see this happening anywhere else?
It's it's almost like You done it first, and I'm mad because I didn't do it. That's lame as
Right,
hell,
right.
bro. That's lame as
Hmm.
hell.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like if you could have did it, you would have did it. So the
In
fact that
fact,
you didn't do it, you either didn't want to do it or you lied about that you could do it.
I
Point
can
blank.
recall in some of the this, and what's funny is this point that I can recall what took place after the brother was silenced. People started popping up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Saying
yeah,
what you were just saying right there. In words they were saying this, like, I've been doing this and da da da. I've been, well, okay. If you've been doing this, well, where's the results? Where's your 5,000 marching up, marching down Stone Mountain? Where's your 5,000 in Louisville right now? Where are they at?
they
You
didn't have
said
the
you've been
followers.
doing this.
People didn't believe in them,
No, they didn't.
or they was silently or secretly doing it to themselves. I don't know because this man, he stepped out there like with with all the faith in the world that he can do this, and he
Yeah.
did it.
Yes.
He
Exactly.
did it.
Oh man, you hit it right there on the nail.
A
He
lot
had
of them
he.
they scared to make that move. They scared to step out on faith. Like
It's like a
he
room
had
full of people, right?
right,
Everybody just sitting down, crying about how hot it is, and somebody just stand up and flip the switch, and the fan turn on, or something like
exactly,
that.
exactly,
Everybody looking at him like, and then the haters are like, "Wait a minute, who does he think he is? I could have did that. I could, but you didn't.
it's that
You were sitting
competitive
there
spirit,
complaining like everyone else."
that competitive spirit that
Yeah,
men have. And
yeah.
hell, I ain't gonna lie, women have it as well. But
And
if this man is doing something for the good, what's the purpose of hating
the,
on it?
the
Join in, join
exactly
in.
support the cause. And the
If you
problem with
got a
that is,
strong voice or a mind frame that's even close to this man's,
mhm,
hey, join in. He'll know. He'll see it. He'll
my
see it.
concern is that in today's time, I think that first of all, I think the moment is a historical opportunity to really be a game changer, and people just don't realize. If you look in history and look at the development of any great nation, it was always certain elements that became a game changer. Even this nation right here, it had certain moments in their life that was the deciding factor between whether they were going to be British or something else.
Right.
You understand? That where that game, the whole element changed, and it was always a certain group of people, not the majority. It was like a select. You understand? An elect, if you would. Um, in this situation here, I I really see that we have an opportunity to change the the course of our destiny, the way things have been going, the way we've been used to experiencing things as black people in this land. And it's it's a narrow door. It's like kind of like open like that, and it's pending the moments that we're experiencing right now. And I think that not enough of us are paying attention to it. And I think it's the type of a thing that because of that, we will either make or break the outcome, because we're not guaranteed anything in life. Nothing is guaranteed. I know many of us, we have prophetic concepts of victory, but nothing is guaranteed. As I mentioned before, divinely speaking, God helps those who help themselves.
Oh man,
You
I
know,
heard somebody say that to me before.
so what I take from that quote there is, we don't need to be a mighty 5,000 or mighty 5 million or whatever, but authentic is what we need to be. You understand? Authentic and unified. And if there's enough authentic and unified, then the rest is in the hands of God.
Right,
God is not oblivious to the moments that take place, that manifest when these are the ingredients within us. But if we sit around complaining to ourselves, it's like a story that I heard once where a person was crying and complaining, treading water in the ocean because their boat capsized, and they're praying, "Oh God, help me, send me help," and they're praying the blues, crying the blues, and everything. Another boat comes by, and they look at the boat like, "No, no, 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 I'm
God
praying
gonna
on it.
come and get me.
God's going to help me." And they're like, "Oh, okay, you all right? You straight?" and they keep on rolling over. Then, eventually, at some point, a helicopter comes. You listen to everything: a helicopter, a boat, a whale probably even came. You
A
need help?
dolphin came by. No, God gonna come get me. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Keep on going. And then by the time he doesn't drown or something, and he's asking like, God, why? What's up? You didn't help
You
me. What are
fool.
you
I sent
talking
three
about?
people to come get you.
I done send everything under the sun to come help you, and you turned it all down.
People
See,
don't understand that, man. They don't understand that story right there. I told that
yeah,
story several
yeah.
times on my
So,
live.
mm, mm-mm.
You one thing I've learned, and I just talked about this a couple of weeks ago. You can't save nobody who don't want to be saved.
Yeah.
You can't help nobody who don't want to be helped. Our main
Mm-mm.
focus should be on the people who has the same mind frame or trying to get to that same mind frame that we have. Understand the bigger picture, understand the goal at hand. The rest of them,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be in that same goddamn boat
Yep. Speaking of
until
boats,
until it capsizes, and nobody's there to save them.
right. This whole thing reminds me. I was sharing some lives ago about the story of Nuh, or Noah, as people know him in the West. And in that, I was trying to emphasize the idea that here's someone who's doing something right before your very eyes, nothing hidden, no tricks. You see the boat being built right there, and you're in the desert. The optimistic person will look at this like, what is going on here? And go to want to participate. Like, hey, bro, what? I mean, can I help? I mean, something's happening here. I'm trying to be a part of it. I don't know what you're doing, but it's big, right? So, but the haters will be looking at that just like they do today. What is this?
What is this idiot doing?
Well, it's raining or something? Well, you thinking a flood's coming or something? What are you doing over here? Well, look at this guy, man. Look at this dude. Look at how he dressed. This is what they do, right? Same thing. For me, that's what I took out of this. It's like in parallel. I'm seeing 5,000 people that weren't marching yesterday up Stone Mountain or whatever, or Louisville. I'm like, this didn't happen any year of my life. I didn't see this. And
Right.
these
I
people are
agree.
from different regions of the globe.
Right.
Then for me, I'm an action word type person. You know what I mean? I want to know more than just what people say. I want to see what are you doing. So I'm listening to the morning minutes. I'm listening to the facts over feelings. Then I'm seeing someone coming out manifesting what they've been talking about all along. And I understand that things have to be carefully handled. There's careful things that have to be done when you're trying to do something that has to have a greater effect. So I'm looking at
Hey,
these things. I'm looking at this. I'm like, wow. I said a boat's being built in the middle of a desert, and I'm looking at the clowns, the coons, the funny ones, laughing and making a mockery. But like, y'all don't see this boat being built? I said something's happening right here. A boat's being built, and it only makes sense that like, look, man, I mean, somehow I need to be a part of the situation here, because this is history. I'm gonna say it this way. This is our story in the making, our story in the resurrecting. So I said, if that didn't, if it'd be different if it was like 25 people that were marching somewhere, and they show a camera, a helicopter view of 25 people marching up Stone Mountain, and then Louisville maybe 10, and then in what, Lafayette 5.
hey,
Nobody would even talk about it.
I wonder if people ever looked at this or even thought about this. When all this started happening back in, well, we know how long it's been going on, but it really took a turn for the worse when they killed Lamar.
Hmm.
And a domino effect kept happening. It just
Yep.
kept happening. Like, when is this fuckers gonna stop?
Right. Right.
Can you imagine what the world would be like if this man did not stand up?
Right.
Think about this now. Ahmad got justice. George got justice. Now, I don't call what happened to Breonna justice, but they paid whatever they paid. I wanted them
Right.
fuckers to go to jail.
Right. Right.
But we have made strides strides from if these things would have happened 10, 15 years ago, man.
Yeah.
Nothing would have happened. It would have got swept under the rug. Some bullshit would have happened in the case. Oh, we got to throw it out, let them walk.
What would have happened? The only thing that would have happened is people would have been able to tell you what the Philadelphia Eagles score was. They would have been able to tell you how many points LeBron shot. They would have. That's all that would have happened, and they would have been able to come out rocking the latest Jordans or something like that. That's all that would have happened.
Now,
Or they would have eyelashes longer than they did last year. That's all that would have happened.
now, I don't want to throw no shade, and I ain't, because I don't know who these other groups are.
Hmm.
But just hearing you speak on people saying I can do this or I can do that or we got this group, I still haven't seen nobody do things like the NFAC. Nobody.
Exactly. Exactly.
Nobody. That's no shade. And that's no just because I support that. That no. That's all I see.
And
That's all I see. I'm
that's why
sorry.
for me, that's what makes it so similar to me. That's what makes it comparable to me in meaning in spiritual language with the story of Noah, because that's like I mean, there's so many parallels in the meaning. I'm not saying this is the story of Noah, but I'm saying that the effects that people would have had with this weird thing happen, a strange thing that hasn't happened before. Understand? Happening right in your midst, and not only that, but with one of your own folks. It's not like Bob Ross. You know who Bob Ross is. Bob Ross was an old white artist back in the days. I'm a nerd, so
No,
he was
no.
a paint artist, right? A painter. It's not like what I'm saying. It's not like some white guy came up with the same game doing the same thing. But this is a brother. Not only that, but if you ever hear the brother talk, he don't have nothing to prove. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's no um nothing substance. There's no worldly thing in it for him. Like there's nothing to what do I want to say? Like it's not for uh, uh some type of worldly achievement.
Right, right.
You understand? Like you put it, I believe he stood up in a way when others were not.
Exactly.
You understand? That light switch or the fan or whatever. The example.
Yeah.
So to me, like I said, that would have been any kind of a wake up call. Or any kind of like something to make you pay attention, to make you lift your head up. Like if you're sitting there, oh, what's going on? Oh, what's happening over here? But what I started off with this conversation about, connecting it with the title, was I was giving a shout out to Sister K Money. And the reason why I was doing that is because, having met her in person, there was something that I observed. You understand? In the whole, I mean, just coming from Canada, and in the consistency of her verbiage throughout the months, the years, just consistent on it, hard, just driving it in. GMJ, 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 GMJ. Here's the court case that we thinking is the final case, the final moment. She made sure I'm gonna. And when I was on the phone with her, like I said, I was trying to paraphrase where she says, I want to be out there with my flag. I want to be waving. I want to be doing something, right? And I'm listening not just to those words, but I'm listening to her, the intonation of her voice.
The passion.
Yeah, I'm like that right there. I said if there was a hundred of those right there, this would have been. Oh man,
Yeah. It's a lot of K monies out here. Well, I ain't gonna
yeah,
say a lot, but
yeah,
it's a good bit of them to do what we need to do and keep pushing forward. I
yeah.
think eventually people may follow suit. If
Mm-hmm.
not, that's their choice. You know what I'm saying? But for those who are truly down for the cause, it
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't take much to stay unified
Yeah.
because the goal is what we know it to be.
Yep.
code. You know what I'm saying? So it shouldn't be no, oh, I don't like the way this happened. I don't like the way this was said. No,
Yep.
communicate to each other, push that shit aside, and keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
All
And
that negative
and
shit, I can't stand.
fall, as they say back in the day, get in where you fit in. If
Yeah,
if the spot's already taken, find another spot. Just like a parking lot. And in this situation, you didn't stand up like that. This brother did. So let
exactly.
him manifest what comes out of that, and you find a place where you fit in. Um, One of the things that I admired from the get go is, how they call it a coalition. You understand? Which implies collaboration, which implies the willingness to, build, alliances, to build friendships, if you would, to build, agreements with other people on the same code, on the same accord.
Right.
That says a lot. It didn't come out where this is our group, this is or something that meant just them. You understand? But a term that implied all involved, all participants that have something to put at the table. You're welcome to come have a seat at the table. And that's a man.
We talking about an intelligent man. We
Man,
talking about a man, to me, who do things the right way, legally. I
yeah,
don't think he made a mistake yet. That bullshit they
no,
put on him, we know that's bogus.
right.
They took something he did and like we can use this against him. Yeah, that's all that was. This man he's a genius, man.
And
You know
and
what I'm
to
saying?
the
You're not dealing with no average black man. You're not.
right, right.
You
And to
feel
the
what I'm saying?
naysayers have been, just like I said, comparing it with Garvey, our own people being, the ones who break us down. The naysayers had been trying to find, if we can recall earlier, the naysayers had been trying to find ways to, agentize the brother to, find, and then that didn't work. So they try to, find something else to try to, oh, he did this or he behaved that way or he did this to me or he didn't shout me out or, they had all these different things going on. And I'm thinking to myself, like, y'all ain't done yet. I said, first I thought he was doing something illegal. Oh no, wait a minute, I thought he was this on the docket. The family, for those that are watching, this brother is facing real charges. You understand? His name is on the docket. Those folks aren't going to waste their time putting someone's name on the docket for no reason. The brother's on the docket. That means, you know, if push came to shove, the person can actually face time. The brother can face time. So
You got
we have to really take this in a realistic scope and stop being draped off into fantasy land or these guys that spend 9 hours live talking about, I mean, just the dumbest stuff against each other, back and forth for 9, 5, 6 whatever hours all night long. Nothing that mean anything. This brother's really facing time, and that's the bottom line. Like the sister put it, they trying to railroad the brother. You understand? And like I'm putting it, we have an historical moment. And if we don't pay attention, we will lose it. If
you
we
know
don't
what?
pay attention to what this is happening here, we will lose it. And not only will they won't stop there. People think this is just a momentary thing. They won't stop there. Look at the language they're speaking today. Right now, right now, they've been talking all kinds of ways about de-arming and the armament of weapons and whatnot, and illegal arms and stuff like that. When that guy, the event that whatever happened in D.C. took place, they had spent the whole day belittling legal arms. I don't know if you saw that the DC event that happened where the guy was shooting the people. They spent that whole time finding ways to demonize
You
the
talking
right
about
being.
the DC sniper?
What's that?
You ain't talking about something that happened years and years ago,
No,
are
no,
you?
no. This was when I was down there in Louisville. I'm watching the news.
I ain't even
Um,
about that.
oh man, what channel was that on? I think it was ABC. So you might want to check the ABC News, ABC or CBS. One of them. They were talking about, just type Washington shooting or something like that, and
I'll check it out.
it'll pop up. But my whole
Just
point is they had all kinds of people, politicians and whatnot, running their mouth talking about, um, basically talking against arms and how many arms or how many guns and stuff are in the street and things like that, just going at it. And I'm trying to say that if they have their way with this, brother, they're not going to stop there. You understand? That's not the end of the road. It's just like this jab that they're not stopping there. Listen to this guy in the White House talking. Listen to the way he talks. Listen to what he says. These aren't flukes. He may sound like an idiot, but they know exactly what they want this man to get out there. They know exactly what content they want him to speak about. It's like the brother said, there is no choice but unity. He has to win. He
He gonna
has
win.
to he has
It's
to
ain't
win this case
no
without
doubt in
doubt.
my mind. Ain't no doubt
So,
in my mind.
and here's the thing: on the flip side, so I told you, what would likely happen if he were to lose, but if he were to win, and he will win. There's so many elements, so much energy letting you know that a win is a victory on multitudes of levels. Suffice it to say here, just understand that when you win something and you had and the thing that you were challenged with was attacking your momentum and what you were standing on, what you were pushing out there, you've now gotten all kinds of renewed momentum, more, you understand, to push you even further because of the victory. You understand?
Well,
Because of that victory.
I just want to say a couple of things, man. Just going back before I lose that train of thought you was talking about earlier. For one, you was talking about, the people who's, just bashing him and
Yeah.
talking down on him and all that stuff. I don't see it. You know why? Because I don't follow that type of shit.
Boom.
If it pops up on my goddamn news feed, it's three buttons over, three dots. You
Yeah.
click on it and say, do not recommend this page again.
Yep.
If I see bullshit, that's what I do because I don't want to see it.
And
Because you
that's
know
what.
why? For
Yeah.
one, energy is expensive.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not giving nobody my energy for free.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because let's think about this. What's gonna happen to you if you continue to just beat this horse that's already dead? You just beating it.
Right.
What's gonna eventually happen? You're just gonna get fucking tired. That's it. That horse dead.
Mm-hmm.
Don't waste your time on dead energy. You know what I'm saying? For those people who out here bashing this man's name or lying on him or putting out information that they know not to be true, you got to think about who they're talking to.
Right.
People who can't think for themselves.
Yep.
They gonna tell them what they want to hear. And what does black people like? Drama.
You're right.
Yeah.
And you know
Eliminate it. You gotta eliminate it. You know what I'm
what's
saying? That's
what
why when I hear a lot of stuff like they said this, I ain't never hear it. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And I
and
don't
as I
want to
said
hear it.
earlier, one of the main things that I had initially admired from the very beginning, in addition to just the courage that I saw, was the ability of the brother to stay focused on what he's on, the path that he's on.
Right.
And if you could, like I said, if you could remember earlier when there those facts over feelings in those lives, and things like that, and people were saying stuff then. You understand? Folks were saying stuff then, and you would never know it if you were listening to him. You would never know it because he didn't focus on that.
Exactly.
He said he didn't allow
Bingo.
that to invade his conversation. And to me, that
Bingo.
was respect. But
That's
what's funny is some of the very people. Here's the thing: some of the very people who were talking all that yang, they got all kinds of stuff just exposing out of their closet right now. They're having a hard time. Brothers having a hard time right now. All kinds of. I'm just like, wow, this isn't funny how things just flip around. Now you playing, tennis, dodgeball, whatever. Oh, that's what they're doing right now. They playing dodgeball with each other, trying to dodge the the receipts that
yeah.
everybody lashing at each other with.
Yeah.
It's funny how the
Well,
tables turn.
one experience I had, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. But one experience I had, I was on these young ladies live. Uh I was just in the chat and she said she asked could she play one of my songs and it ended up being, After the Rain.
Mm.
Everybody enjoying the song, and then just one person in the chat said, Boss Blake, you got nice music, but GMJ is a fraud. I said, I don't know who you talking about.
Mm.
What GMJ you talking about? Because the
Right.
one I know, he did something for my city.
Yep.
He did something for my city, so I have no idea who you talking about, bro. He said,
Yep.
"Well, it's that guy you singing about in that song." I said, "All right, I'm finna get up out of here. I'm gonna holler at y'all. I ain't
Mm.
got time for it.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for it. I got the hell on shit like, damn, boss, why you left? I ain't got time for your trolls and your goddamn chat. That's what
Yeah.
I
I
don't play
call
that shit. If I really fuck with you the long way, I ain't finna let nobody talk about you whether you dare or not. I'm just not gonna do it.
those are most likely YouTube dwellers that only know life on YouTube. So anything that deals with the real persons they're talking about, they've never met the brother. They don't even they've never even had anything that would give them some weight of what they're saying. They watch this stuff. They get the YouTube stuff. They get little tidbits from whoever's, like you said, hyping up the negative narrations, and that's what they run with.
Yep.
Bandwagoners and things like that. But
They
you
don't
know,
think for themselves. Point blank period.
yeah, and that's
I'm
the
gonna give
that's
you a panel back, man. Get up out of here. I'll be in the chat, man. Appreciate you for having me on. Just
no
want to come
doubt.
in and speak
And
my shit. You feel me?
anytime, you're appreciated. There's nothing but respect on this platform, brother. Yes, yes, indeed. And I
All right,
salute you.
man.
Take care.
Shalom.
Peace and blessings. All right, family. So that was a little bit of surprise. Brother boss man, joined us for a little bit. And that was definitely appreciated. We had a good conversation. We built. That's what I like to do. I like when people, come in, we build, we talk about, different matters that are relevant. And what's good out of this type of situation is that the things we were talking about was essentially things we agree upon. It may not always happen that you get people, if you have a conversation you agree with, but that's good too because it's something, even if people came and they disagree, at least they like to be able to have an intelligent discussion about it, so that way the listeners, the viewers, can make up their own mind as to you know the nature of the conversation. Um, and even this situation, there may be people who come across this live and who don't agree with what either of us said, but I think people are more proper, more right and exact when they can express themselves in an intelligent manner, in a way that allows room for you to be able to, like they say, agree to disagree. You understand? And then where you do agree, you understand. You form tight bonds. You form stronger bonds of brotherhood, sisterhood, because you know where you stand. You understand? You know where you stand, and and the respect is even stronger when you know that people do and live in accordance with what they say. You understand? The respect grows even stronger. Like I said, when I meet persons and see certain people, and I'm seeing them living their words. You understand? Manifesting who they say they are, manifesting, what their context is in the course of conversation. You have to salute them. You have to give them respect because sometimes this is a rare breed in today's time. Anymore. But when you see them, when you meet brothers and sisters like that, you have to give them respect because, you know, at the end of the day, you know that these are the people that helped you win at the end. You understand? These are the people that will be of the. It's like, think of the old battles, the old wars and whatnot, and you had certain ones that would be like, they would go out there and they wouldn't run away. Some people would be running like, oh no, let's run. They would keep on fighting and keep on fighting and keep on fighting and keep on fighting. You know what I mean? Sit there, hold. You got the. I remember the one where the guy was holding his flag, and he just kept on fighting while holding the flag. He's sitting there, got arrows and stuff coming at him, sitting there still fighting all the way to his last breath. Think about what it takes to have a heart like that. Think about the level or the degree of loyalty, the degree of uh, real, like I said, the divine love language, a real love for your people. Think about that. Think about that. Like the brother we're talking about, Grandmaster Jay. When they were marching, suited and booted. You didn't see the brother hiding back in the back of the rank or in the middle. Surrounded by all the brothers and sisters. You saw him marching up in the front. And even when there was attempts for some of the brothers to try to give him a little bit of security, he just busted through and kept on marching through. I'm just saying, at any given time, anybody could have felt any kind of way that might have been on the scene. Brother wasn't afraid of any of that. Wasn't There was no fear concerning any of that. It takes courage. This is an ingredient, another ingredient, just like love. That the meaning of these terms are the understanding of it is becoming more and more rare. It's a rarity. Courage, real genuine courage. People are so selfish and so self-centered. Most people aren't going to give their life for you. Who are you? Why give my life for you, man? I want to live too. I got to eat too. It's a different mindset today. You understand? And today, when people, are bearing arms, artillery and whatnot, in those days, people were fighting up and close. They had swords and shields and stuff like that. So they had to get in your face. And they don't knowing they could lose their life at any given time, they're out in the open. It takes a lot to be a soldier. It takes a lot to be a soldier. You understand? A lot of courage. Because you as a soldier, as a person who's really about what they say they are, that means you're going to stand on what you say that you're about, even if it means you could lose your own life. Like, look, man, this is what I am about. Regardless of what you say, this is what I'm about. This is what's real. This is what's authentic for me to my dying breath. So, yeah, you gotta understand. I mean, you see these things you see these things on the news and TV and stuff, but I don't think some folks don't realize how much um weight courage plays in these scenarios where anything can happen. You know what I mean? That's why, I said when I was younger, I would say I'd say I would salute some of the brothers of the street, some of the brothers and sisters of the street, because I know that every day they don't know what's going to happen with their life. You understand? They don't know what's going to happen with their life any given day, any given time. They don't know how it's going to turn out, but they ain't afraid. Nobody's afraid. Right here with the people, they're not afraid. Folks aren't afraid. You understand? Like one person, real recognize real. And in any of those given situations, that's why I said I don't care. I'm not concerned with what many of these folks say that you have something negative to say. You you just have to experience some of these things for yourself. That's all. That's what I could say about that. You got to experience some of these things for yourself with a mind centered on um experiencing truth, experiencing authenticity. You got to come with that mind, not come with some type of bias um or preconceived notions or whatever. I mean, you can have whatever you want to think, but come for the facts. Come for the truth. You understand? Like I said, you can't deny the truth. Come for the truth. When you come for the truth, that's exactly what you're going to get. If you come on some bogus stuff, on some hypocritical stuff, then that's what you're going to get. Everything gonna look to you like it's gonna look that like that's what it is, because that's the framework you're coming with. But if you come really looking for authenticity, you're going to find authenticity wherever you go in life. In any room you're gonna find authenticity because that's what you're looking for. You know what I mean? If you're not looking for something, how can you expect to find it? You're not even looking for it. You don't and not only that, you gotta know where to find it, where to look. Anyway, family, wanted to get on here and break bread and build with the family because you know the old saying it's not much of an old saying now. Give them their roses while they live. Well, I have something to pass on to our honorable sister Kay, because for me, like I said, I saw someone who um, walked according to their talk, and I saw someone who demonstrated um, what we find when we talk about the divine love language. You understand? That's what that's that. For me, that's what I saw as her motivated factor for moving from point A to point B. So to me, that's honor worthy. And when we recognize those amongst us behaving honorably, demonstrating a character that's worthy of speaking about, we should call it out and show appreciation, show recognition of it. You understand? I mean, people are quick to bash each other and talk of the negative stuff. So why not, call out the honorable stuff? You understand? So at least that's where I'm at with it. I mean, uh, I do have. Let's see, there is one live scheduled for Saturday at 8:30. It was supposed to be for Wednesday, but as I told you, I was completely worn out. You understand? My work schedule and the travel and all this. I was just like, man, I need to rest my neck. I mean, I I'm telling you, my body was sore. I had boxes and stuff to lift, and some of the sites that I go to, I lift these big servers, these big servers and switches, and it gets pretty burdensome sometimes. It gets pretty um hefty because I like to take on tasks where I know that it'll be worth the pay. You understand? I don't like to uh do something. I'm like, well, man, I'm not even gonna get anything that'll benefit my family, out of this particular assignment. Um, so in other words, if your laptop just needs a battery replaced, I'm probably not the guy to hire. But if you need a motherboard replaced, call me up. I'm joking. I do it all. I do all that. But I like to make the best out of my efforts so I can get what the task deserves. Um, yes, indeed. So, as you may know now, just to make a long story short, as you may know, if you don't know yet, you probably already know. Um, May 18th is the day. And they keep pushing these days. That for me, that says something too about this system. They just keep pushing the date and pushing the date and pushing the date. You know, you may not realize this, but in warfare tactics, that's usually a strategy used to cause people to become fatigued about something. You understand? And if you look, you think about at the beginning, if you have all these people who are supporting and who are about who say they're about the cause, but then as the days progress and get further and further away from the starting point, only the real remain because they were there they were about it all along. And it always seems to be a fewer body of people than those who say they are about the cause. It ends up being a fewer body of people. But it just seems like they want to fatigue us. You know, even when we were trying to find the courtroom and all that, it seemed like people were really um, not wanting to talk to us about much of anything. They want to fatigue us. They want to wear us out and the brother out for that matter. So much so that you know how when you get to a certain point, people would, oh, let's just get it over with, whatever, whatever. When you're fatigued, you just want whatever to happen. Whatever that means, whatever. But we can't allow that. We can't accept whatever. We need to be just as determined as folks were from the beginning. Can't be whatever. You understand? If you want some dangerous waters to come rushing in, okay, then accept whatever. But if you want to uh change the whole weather system, the whole dynamics, then we need to stand up and make sure that this one here is a success. That's just my opinion about it. So yeah, now it's about time for me to sign off. Okay, yeah, just looking at the what the weather is out there. It's a little cold right now, so I haven't been able to really get back into the garden like I want to. But it is what it is. So, family, make sure you tune in when you can on Saturday, uh, which, let's see here. Yeah, the 30th, which is the 30th. And we'll, hopefully we'll be able to stick to that schedule and get back to building on When the World Was Black by Supreme Knowledge. And because I think it's very vital for us to keep, you know, um, a mindset on our story and on all levels, scientifically, archaeologically. We need to recognize and accept and embrace who and what we are. Quit playing. Quit playing, because we see where that's getting us right now. Um, so with that said, I believe enough's been said. I think I've rounded it off. Let's see here. Did we do it? Yeah. Well, almost. I was trying to see almost an hour, 2 hours and a half. Um, Still working on some new joints. Got a few more things that I got to put together, but stay tuned for that. Hopefully, I can get it done before the middle of the year, and have something for the family to put in their ear. You understand, and rock with. Because after all, I still got to manifest the other aspects of Quest Man, and that includes, dropping the conscious sounds, conscious words for the mind. I'm going to sign off. This is your brother Abdul Wadud, aka Quest Man. Another live soul journey of life, conscious black social media. Do and would appreciate all support. If you would like to support Soul Journey of Life, the details are at the bottom of your screen scrolling. The Cash App, $ the Light Dome, PayPal.me/ Soul Journey of Life with the PayPal system, if that's your preference. Either way, what you do is definitely appreciated, and I salute all the supporters and all those who have been supporting. I salute you, and definitely it has been helping. You understand? It does help more than you may know, even if it be small measures. Even the small measures are helpful in some way to the cause, to the platform, to those in need in the community, whatever the case may be. However, it finds its way to being used for this effort. Salute and appreciate it. Uh, so with that said, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shalom, Hotep, peace be with you. Nothing but love and respect. Let us keep loving one another, and let us definitely keep the light on. Keep the light on, family. That's all for me. Okay.